Looking for a trusted supplier for all your household hardware needs? Look no further than Competitive Hardware Limited. We provide top quality building materials including cement, all types of iron sheets, paints, PPR and PVC pipes, electric pipes, building grills, BRC and square till in various sizes. Need interior and finishing materials? We've got you covered with gypsum, gypsum rails, marine boards, ceiling boards and tanks of all sizes. For fencing, we stock barbed wire, chain link and wire mesh. And the best part, we offer free countrywide delivery with our fleet of transit trucks and pickups. Your order arrives on time, every time. Visit us in Kitengela along Namanga Highway, opposite 411 stage, or at our branches in Kitisuru and Busia. For enquiries, call us on 020-26-88-888 or 0733-666632 or 0721-923248. Competitive Hardware Limited, your reliable hardware supplier.
It is exactly 9 p.m. here at CBS News Kenya. Good evening. I am Isanda Cynthia and welcome to the Prime Time News. We now kickstart our bulletin with Albert Ojwang, a 31-year-old man from Kakot, Homa Bay County, who died less than a day after being arrested by DCI officers over an alleged post on social media platform X. He was detained at Nairobi Central Police Station, where police claim he suffered fatal head injuries after hitting a wall. However, sources say Ojwang had voiced fears for his safety and his lawyer was denied access to him. Today, protests broke out outside a city mortuary in Nairobi, where mourners and activists gathered as his body was released. Demonstrators carried placards, chanted slogans, and demanded justice, blaming police for his death and calling for accountability.
Wakajitambulisha kwamba wao wametoka DCI Nairobi. Kijana ametusi mkubwa wao, kwa hivyo wametuma kutoka Nairobi waje nyumbani kumchukua huyu mtoto. Wakamchukua wakamweka ndani, wakaniambia ndani ya Subaru. Wakaniambia sasa wewe fuata kijana kesho huko Nairobi. Jinsi alifonielezea bwana OCPD kwamba amejigonga kwenye ukuta, nikapata habari tofauti. Kwa sababu macho yamefunga na uso umefura kuanzia hapa peke yake kuja kwa mdomo na pua na mdomo natoka damu, nafuja damu. Pia yuko na majeraha eneo la kwenye nini hapa, kwenye mkono hapa, na siwezi kueleza maana sikuweko. Nguo pia hana, shati hana, yuko hivyo.
Mtu anajigonga namna gani? Wewe utajigonga ukufe hata kama situation iko namna gani? It is very sad, but what do we say? It's the government, they've decided. Let us pray to God to help us.
We want the truth. We want to know how Omondi died and was he murdered. The OCPD is not around. The OCS also promptly left, disappearing from the scene. And so the family have been denied the opportunity to be able to see the alleged crime scene that they say that he hit his head. And our worry is that this crime scene may end up being tampered with. This country has had a history of violence by the police, and just taking up from a week that we met the Inspector General of Police and his DIGs and the head or the director of DCI, which we mentioned our concerns on the manner in which police have been carrying out themselves, and particularly this police station was one of the highlights of our complaints. And not a week has gone by before this has happened.
And now moving on, the government has announced its plans to still use the forbidden Adani company's plan to enhance power lines transmission in the country. Appearing before the National Assembly's Standing Committee on Energy and Petroleum to shed light on the ministry's efforts to address the power shortages in the country, Energy Principal Secretary Alex Kamau Wachira reiterated the need to apply Adani's failed plan in power line transmission, saying it will be cheaper. The PS confirmed that the government is on the last stage of terminating the contract between Kenya and Adani, saying the amount that Kenya will incur will be communicated in later dates. Shadrach Kareria attended the session, and here's the story.
Kibos, then from Kibos comes to Muhoroni, and there's a very short time line that can only carry about 80 megawatts. So they have power instability. So it was meant to address those three things, and then extension of Duodiboro substation and Rongai. As it is now, we're in the final stages of terminating the project agreement with Adani. Remember, unlike airport, as we had moved a step further, we had signed the project agreement. So once now we sign the final divorce papers, then that's when we can be able to onboard any new investor. But the ministry is very keen on having new investors to take up this project, because these are projects that are meant to enhance our transmission and also ensure that there is power stability. Honorable Chair, the work Adani has done to get where it is, it has costed the money. So we must compensate that, and it is also in the project agreement. So then in return, and it will help us lower our cost of the next person who is going to come on board, because he is not going to do what Adani had done, the preliminaries. We are telling you, come on board, and this is the designs, this is the route that you're going to follow. So when you're costing your project, you must cost your project less this amount of money. So either way, if we do not acquire those documents, then someone will have, it will be costed in the next project, and we still have to pay. So the next project is going to be much lower. The plans, the drawings, we need to acquire that. Then now for us, we have to compensate them. So the final amount is not yet agreed upon. And once it is agreed upon, that's when now we can be able to come to the committee and tell you it is this amount of money. But it's commensurate to what they have done, they have invested.
Members of Parliament have raised concerns after reports that despite government announcing plans to dissolve and merge 42 state corporations, the affected corporations are still receiving budgets from the Treasury. While appearing before the National Assembly's Standing Committee on the Directorate of State Corporations in Kenya, Ms. Grace Moneki told the committee that although the process of discontinuation and merger of the affected corporations is ongoing, the corporations are still getting budget allocations, what MPs disputed, arguing it's a wastage of public funds.
What is going on with those regional authorities? Have they been dissolved? Are they receiving budget? What's going on?
The state corporations earmarked for mergers, and the circular was on suspension of renewal of contracts. So at the moment, we have stopped, when the head of public service has guided that there will be no further renewal of contracts, no further employment for the state corporations earmarked for mergers. It's a progressive, it's progressive over time, but first we have started with contracts and HR matters.
Members must be receiving what we call regular updates. Now you are saying they got budget. The committee member is saying no. So who is saying that? Dr. Yuma? We know the directions which were given by national government in terms of what Dr. Yumura said. But the committee needs to know what is going on now, so that we can be able to plan when we are planning to do now the next phase of audit, which we have scheduled them to be the next after energy. That the committee will be briefed on exactly what is going on in terms of budgets and staff.
Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua has cautioned Wiper Democratic Movement leader Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka against associating with the opposition alliance led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Dr. Mutua urged Kalonzo to consider joining the government, arguing that doing so would help deliver development and progress to the people of the Ukambani region. His remarks came during a meeting attended by various leaders from the Ukambani region.
Kuambiana ukweli, kwa sababu watu wamedanganywa kwa muda mrefu sana. Watu wamedanganywa kwa muda mrefu sana, na wale wanaodanganyana ndio wanapiga kelele sana, na serikali inapofanya kitu watu wanadanganyana, inakuwa mbaya sana. Mimi nitakwambia watu wangu Ukambani ya kwamba huyu mtu wa Sutikombo hatuko tunamtaka kuwe deputy president, hatuko tunamtaka sisi pale tukaa kana Kenya Kwanza, hatuko tunamtaka. Ni bahati tu aliangukia kwa sababu mali yametoka. Akaingia hapa akaanza ukabila, akaanza kuiba, akaanza chuki. Sasa amefukuzwa, yuko kule nje. Sasa tatanishi ni kwamba kiongozi wetu Kalonzo Musyoka ambaye ni more senior, baada ya kuwa huyu mtu ndio anamfuata, yeye ndio sasa anafuata huyu mtu wa Sutikombo. Sasa how can the senior follow the junior? Ama Kalonzo Musyoka wakati alifanyishwa interview wakati wa Martha Karua alishtuka akaenda chini. Inaonekana alishtuka kabisa akaenda chini kabisa. Sasa ameshtuka kabisa, ndio unaona badala ya kuwa anasumbuana na watu wakubwa huku, Kalonzo Musyoka anapaswa kuwa akisumbuana na akina Ruto huko, si ndio? Akisumbuana na magavana, sasa ameenda kusumbuana na speaker. Nasikia anasumbuana hata na MCA. Sasa ameteremka level yake hapo kwa sababu yeye amekuwa mtu wa kufuata. Aibu ni kwamba wale waliokuja kule Seikuru alituaibisha. Wakasema hakuna nyumba. Na ukiangalia vice president wa Kenya wanajulikana. Hakuna kijiji cha aliyekuwa vice president Kenya ambacho hakina lami. Kwa vice president wote ni moja tu ya Kalonzo Musyoka. Na alikuwa kwa serikali. Unajua kuna watu wajui maendeleo, ni kama kuna watu wengine wajui kutumia pesa, kumtumia pesa anaharibu. Kuna wengine kupatia uongozi wanaharibu, hawajui maendeleo. Kwa hivyo sasa sisi tunataka nini? Maendeleo. Kwa hiyo nawaambia tafadhali tuende tuambie watu kwa kina, pole. Tunataka William Ruto akija hapa, ile ndogo ametuletea, akiwa hapa nataka kusikia akipiga simu kule State House iongezwe kwa ile mapenzi ameona kwa watu wa Kamba.
Residents of Sirisia constituency, Bungoma County, are set to benefit from a new borehole drilling project launched by area MP John Waluke. The initiative, done in partnership with a private investor, aims to drill 10 boreholes to ease the shortage of clean water. Speaking at the launch, Waluke criticized the Bungoma County government for neglecting the water sector and urged residents to elect more responsive leaders in the future. Locals welcome the project, saying it will relieve the burden of searching for clean water.
Nikatafuta marafiki, wametupea kutuchimbia maji karibu mashule 10 namna hivi. Hata kesho wakimaliza hapa tunaenda Mtonyi, tunataka kusunguka pahali hakuna maji. Kuhakikisha kwamba mwananchi wa Sirisia constituency anakunywa maji safi. Wamama wasitembee tena usiku, wanaweza umwa na nyoka. Maji itakuwa iko kwa karibu. Unajua sisi county government haijawahi kutusaidia. Hii ni kazi ya county government, governor na MCA, lakini wawezi kuwaona hapa ama wa maji kwa area hii ya Sirisia hakuna. Last time president alilaunch maji ikaenda Malaba kule Busia, na tunatarajia sisi pia kupata maji. President wetu aliahidi ya kwamba tupewe pesa ya maji huko juu Mount Elgon, lakini pato haijafika na muwe watulivu. Na nilionelea hivyo kwamba hatutangojea mpaka muda huo.
Tumeshukuru sana mheshimiwa wetu Meja John Waluke kutuletea maji. Maji imekuwa ikitusumbua sana, hasa sisi wa mama. Tukienda kutafuta maji tunaenda kitu saa 9 ya usiku, saa 8 mchana tutakuwa bado tunatafuta maji. Lakini mheshimiwa, tunashukuru sana, umekuwa mzuri, umekuwa mwaminifu, umetusaidia kutuletea maji. Asante sana mheshimiwa wetu.
Tumesumbukana kwa shida ya maji. Mimi nilikuwa nikitoka asubuhi saa 12 narudi saa 9 ya jioni. Sasa nashukuru ndugu yangu Meja, umekufanyia kitu ya maana hapa Sirisha Mara. Tulikuwa hatuna maji, tulikuwa tunasumbukana na maji, tunaenda mtoni, wanakupikia kwa mtoni, lakini tunasema Meja, na mmekupatia 100% kuletea maji Sirisha.
Tunakupenda kwa sababu umetuletea maji Sirisha Mara. Tulikuwa hatuna maji, tunaweza kwenda maji usiku yote, watoto wanalia, hakuna mtu mwenye anasaidia maji.
And now, in matters business, Kenya has released a 4.4 trillion Kenyan shilling budget for 2025-2026, up from 3.7 trillion Kenyan shillings last year. Key allocations include 666 billion Kenyan shillings for education, 505 billion Kenyan shillings for infrastructure, 244 billion Kenyan shillings for security, and 147 billion Kenyan shillings for health. To manage debt, now over 55% of GDP, the government plans to cut the deficit to 3.9% of GDP, down from 4.3%. It will borrow 213.7 billion Kenyan shillings externally and 545.8 billion Kenyan shillings domestically. The budget reflects a shift towards tighter spending and fiscal discipline.
Consistently reduce our budget deficit, then we are likely to get out of the debt trap.
Important to note that citizens actively participate in the budget-making process in accordance with Article 10 of the Constitution, anticipating that their voices will influence how resources should be allocated and that their input is respected during the budget implementation stage. Both revenue-raising and spending decisions must therefore reflect the demands, aspirations, and priorities of Kenyans, particularly the younger generation, to whom this nation offers great promise.
It is essential that these inequities are highlighted and rectified.
We even have a budget deficit. It is because we have a long wish list of what we need to do. But we need to ask ourselves, do we need to do all that so that we end up with a deficit? And I raised some areas here. Quick wins which can reduce our spending, discretionary spending.
We can cut the government into half across everything. Government, if government is a loaf of bread, you can cut it by half. All the resources of government, you can cut it by half, and my grandmother will not notice. What am I trying to say? That service delivery will not be hampered.
Moving on, Kenya's payroll tax revenue grew by 9.76% in the fiscal year ending June 2024, reaching 543.19 billion Kenyan shillings, up from 494.90 billion Kenyan shillings the previous year. Although this reflects positive growth, it is the slowest rate recorded in the past decade. The slowdown is linked to slower formal sector job creation, with 848,100 new jobs added in 2023 compared to 816,600 in 2022. Alongside wage freezes in key industries such as finance, insurance, and manufacturing. Additionally, changes in tax bans and statutory deductions have influenced payroll tax collections. Despite these factors, Kenya's total government revenue increased by 11.1% to 2.407 trillion Kenyan shillings in the fiscal year 2023-2024. In response, government officials have indicated plans to review the payroll tax system to explore potential reforms aimed at improving revenue growth amid evolving economic conditions. And now that business news takes us to our first commercial break here at CBS News. Remember to keep the conversation going on all our social media platforms at CBS News Kenya.
Join our team at AYTB in partnership with Competitive Manpower. AYTB is seeking qualified candidates for the following positions: Technical Advisor, QA or QC Personnel, Shop Coordinator, Report Organizer, Rotating Equipment Repair Technician, Valve Overhaul Technician, Machining Technician.
Contact us today on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available. Competitive Manpower International Limited is recruiting delivery riders in the United Arab Emirates. If you have a passion for the road and a desire to work in a fast-paced environment, then this is your chance. Don't wait. Send your applications to competitivemanpower@gmail.com. Want to apply in person? Visit our offices at Kiko Road behind the Casa Hotel, KCB River Road, Nairobi. For more details, call us now on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. Act. First opportunities are limited. Secure your spot today and start your journey as a delivery rider in the United Arab Emirates.
Welcome back again and thank you for choosing CBS News. Now let's get sporty. The Portuguese national team came from behind twice to claim the European Nations League title after defeating Spain in the final played at the Allianz Arena in Germany on Sunday night. The thrilling final ended in a 2-2 draw after 90 minutes plus extra time, leading for penalties to lead the winner. Portugal's goalkeeper Diogo Costa was the penalty shootout hero, denying Alvaro Morata from the spot before Ruben Neves slammed home the next kick to secure victory for Roberto Martinez's men. Cristiano Ronaldo, now at 40 years old, led Portugal to clinch the title. And now, Italy has dismissed head coach Luciano Spalletti. Spalletti was sacked following a heavy 3-0 defeat to Norway, which dashed Italy's hopes of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. However, Spalletti will still oversee today's match against Moldova. Spalletti has also replaced Roberto Mancini, and took charge in September 2023, serving for less than 2 years. Despite Spalletti leading Italy to Euro 2025, the disappointing performance there had already put him in a very tight spot. Also, Italy entered the Euros last year in Germany as defending champions, but after winning their opening game against Albania, they lost to Spain and salvaged a late draw against Croatia to reach the round of 16, where they were beaten by 2-0 by Switzerland. Now that brings us to the end of our sports and the main primetime news bulletin. Thank you for keeping it CBS News. I am Isanda Cynthia. Have a good night.
Almarai Company, in collaboration with Competitive Manpower, is urgently hiring for the following exciting roles: Grade 1 mechanics, panel beaters, refrigeration technicians, lead mechanics, diesel plant mechanics, welders, and stainless steel welders. Why apply? This is a free recruitment with no application or placement fees required. Contact us today on 0721 506627 or 0733 392180. You can also visit us at Waterseas Plaza, Kikorok Road. Alternatively, you can send an email to info@competitivemanpower.com. Apply now. Limited slots available.